welcome to the Really Wild Show. This week we're in Italy and this is Rome's famous Colosseum. It used to be a kind of circus where ancient Romans would come and watch wild animals like lions, bears and wolves fight gladiators. Now it's just full of cats and pigeons. But there are still lots of weird and wonderful animals here and we're going to be roaming all over Italy to bring them to you. Meet the boy who still wrestles with lions. Well, a lynx actually. We go deep underground in search of baby dragons.
Okay.
What is this Italian porcupine trying to tell us? And how do you make sure you never run out of pizza? Now the Romans were a pretty superstitious bunch. This is called the mouth of truth. And legend goes that if you put your hand in there and tell a lie, it'll get bitten off. So let's try it out. Okay, chew on this sucker. Dragons really do exist. Ow! Only kidding. You see, they must exist, and how he's gone to find them.
300 years ago, people living in this area of northern Italy believed that mysterious caves in the hills were the lairs of dragons. Ferocious, fire-breathing monsters which were supposed to prey on the local people. No one had actually seen one of these terrible creatures, but locals had good reason to believe they existed. This is where an underground river, known locally as the River of Hell, bubbles up to the surface. Occasionally, after heavy rain, the most extraordinary animals would be washed up around here, and the local people were convinced these were baby dragons. They were truly weird, like a cross between a lizard and a fish, except they had no eyes and strange red branches growing out of their heads. But these baby dragons aren't mythical at all. They're very real. They're called olms, or here in Italy, proteus. And with the help of Nicola and his caving friends, that's great, we're going to see them. Right, let's go. We had to descend deep into a vast underground network of cold, damp caves. These olms had chosen a strange place to live, a world of eternal darkness and silence. But it was also beautiful. Excellent.
Okay, now look around you.
Wow. It's stupendous, isn't it?
Yes, it's a perfect place for a baby dragon.
Indeed, but where are they?
They are in a little lake down there. Look.
Further down. All right then, let's get going.
Okay, let's go.
We were now 100 meters below the surface. These tunnels were once underground rivers, but the waters now receded, leaving behind small lakes and pools. So they're difficult to find?
Yes, you have to search careful. Of course, they are not common, but maybe we are lucky. Look, behind your feet.
Oh, right,
there.
just there.
That's the young one.
That's the most incredible animal, isn't it? It's like a sort of baby newt that's never grown up. I could see why people living 3 centuries ago would have thought these were baby dragons. They're such freaky-looking things, especially with those red gills. They use them, like a fish does, to breathe underwater, but they almost look as though the arm is breathing fire. They're also sometimes called the human fish, because although their bodies are like an eel's, they've got 4 legs with toes, which look strangely like human hands. Are they good swimmers?
Yes, they are a good swimmer, but generally they prefer just to very slowly, as you can see, walk on the ground.
They might look a bit pale and ugly, but then again, so would you if you spent your whole life in darkness. And anyway, this far underground, what do they need pigment for? No one's going to see them.
Although they have no eyes, olms are ferocious predators. Using special sensors, they can pick up the vibrations of animals like freshwater shrimps and hunt them down with unerring accuracy. They've been known to survive in their rocky prisons for more than 50 years, and although they look a bit like monsters, in a funny way, these alien creatures are also quite endearing.
They're great, aren't they?
Yes, I think that's very interesting animals.
Well, thanks for bringing me here, Nicola, because if I hadn't seen it myself, I wouldn't have believed it. Dragons do exist, it seems. Well, baby ones, anyway.
Now, if you want to get close to one of Europe's loveliest animals, the otter, you normally have to either be very lucky or get up in the middle of the night for years just to get the tiniest glimpse. But here in this national park in Italy, things are made a little easier, and in true Italian style, apparently all I need to do is appeal to their stomachs. Otters are actually Italy's most endangered animal. There are only 50 of them left in the wild. So here at the Lake Penne Nature Reserve, they're breeding them, and it's a great place to have a good look at these wonderful animals. This is Francesco, who looks after the 5 otters here, and he says they'll usually do anything for a free fish. So, veni qui, veni qui. Veni qui, veni qui. That's Italian for come on, it seems to work, he understood. They need to live by the water because that's where most of their food comes from, except when I give them a free fish. And if we're really lucky, we can see what good swimmers they are, because over there is a viewing area. It really is a treat to see these animals underwater. You can see they've got very short legs with webbed feet to help them power their way through the water. You can probably see as well their rudder-like tails. It's very important that they can move very quickly underwater so they can chase and catch their fish. So there you have it, the pretty unique experience of seeing an otter underwater. Italy has quite a few animals which once lived in Britain, like these wild boars. They're actually ancestors of our domestic pigs. They're very common in Italy, and these ones are completely wild, although they are fed when they've got babies. And you can see some of the babies. That one in particular has still got the stripes. That helps to camouflage it in the grass. They lose the stripes as they become bigger. Now, pigs may not be everyone's cup of tea, but I think they're wonderful. They're fantastic, mad, crazy animals. And now here's Janice with another baby animal.
Now, loads of people are scared of spiders, but who could possibly be scared of Ragno, the baby spider monkey? Ragno is only 5 months old and he's being hand-reared. Normally at this age, he'd still be clinging to his mum. And you can see that he's clinging to me and his little security blanket here. Spider monkeys live in the rainforests of Central and South America, and they're real acrobats. Although they can run along the ground, they much prefer to swing through the trees. Now, an amazing thing about spider monkeys is that they don't have thumbs. They've just got these 4 long fingers that they use as a kind of hook to cling onto branches, and the thumb would just get in the way. But their most handy feature has got to be their tails. Spider monkeys' tails are so useful, it's a bit like having another arm or a leg. And once they've left their mothers, young spider monkeys very soon get the hang of having a 5th limb. It'll be a few months yet before Ragno's built up his strength and can go and swing in the trees on his own. and it's hoped that one day he'll be reintroduced into his family group, which will be good news for him. And I have to say, he's the cutest spider I've ever seen.
You know, Italy is full of surprising sights. Look at this, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It started leaning while it was being built 850 years ago, and they've only just stopped it before it falls over. But you know, the tower isn't the only surprising thing about Pisa. In the woods around the town, you can see one of Europe's most astonishing creatures. They're porcupines, and amazingly, these prickly beasts are the same species as you find in Africa, and they're pretty tough customers. Even big predators like leopards are very wary of porcupines, because those spines can do an awful lot of damage. Well, frankly, I'm amazed that porcupines live here, and I shall only be convinced when I see one for myself. But knowing their prickly reputation, I'm certainly not going to go walking around in the woods on my own. So fortunately, I have someone who's going to help me, Antonio Filicioli, who's an expert on porcupines. Where are we going then?
So we will just make a walk around the woods in order to find some signals of the presence of these porcupines.
Okay, lead on. I'll follow you.
So, Antonio, where are we likely to see them?
Porcupines live in burrows and only come out at night. But Antonio led me deep into the woods to a place he knew where these shy creatures often sheltered during the day.
Okay, can you hold my hat?
Yep.
And my glasses and my jacket? So just to have a look if porcupine are inside.
Okay.
Just wait a little bit.
I couldn't believe it. Antonio disappeared head first down this tiny hole into the porcupine's burrow. He has got to be mad. You would never find me going in there. I mean, I've seen what porcupine quills can do. Can you imagine if one was coming the opposite direction? Anything there?
I just found a quill and footprints.
But no porcupine.
No porcupines are inside. I think I will come out.
Well, perhaps it was lucky we didn't bump into any porcupines there. But Antonio said he knew another den where he was certain we would be able to find them. At least this time the entrance was a bit bigger, and there were quills outside, a good sign that porcupines were home. That is sharp.
Yes.
Well, if there are porcupines in there, I'm taking no chances. I have come prepared with some shin pads.
That's a good idea. I will have a look from the entrance.
Porcupines can do a lot of damage, so we had to be very careful not to startle them.
We need to talk very slow. Maybe they can hear us.
Okay. It was exciting to think we were about to see one of Europe's most unusual animals, and in fact, there were two of them. I tell you, they're incredible. No one's certain why porcupines live in Italy, but nowhere else in Europe. Some people say the Romans brought them from Africa for food, and others say they've always lived here. Whatever the truth, one thing's certain, they're pretty impressive.
Antonio, how can we be sure that they won't attack us?
Oh, because they are very scared animals. So they will attack you only if you will attack them.
Porcupines defend themselves by charging backwards and stabbing you with their needle-sharp spines. The only good thing is they give you a number of warnings before they attack.
They will start to stomp their feet on the floor to make alarm. Stomp, stomp. Then the tail will make a rattle. Also the voice, come on, is a sort of...
So if they were going to attack us, we'd be warned about it.
Yes, yes. Maybe we are able to get a little bit nearest.
Nearer?
We can try. You are ready to run away if they attack us?
I'm ready to run away, but I think you're crazy. Is it really a good idea to go closer?
I don't know. I'm not sure it's a good idea.
Oh, great. Okay. I'm with you then. Come on.
As we approached, these living pincushions suddenly burst into action.
Listen, Antonio, thank you very much for showing me them, but I think we ought to leave before they throw us out.
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
You know, it's not just porcupines that have spines in Italy. Look at these. prickly pears. And here's a load more spiny critters. Isn't this pretty? In fact, a field of sunflowers is a very common sight in Italy, but did you know that sunflowers can actually turn with the sun? Every day as the sun moves, the young flowers follow it round, so their seeds ripen as quickly as possible. Amazing, eh? But lots of plants can move, and here's Nick to explain how.
Look, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. I promise I won't do it ever again. I can explain. I know this looks ridiculous, but my mimosa plants here really are sensitive. Watch what happens when I touch their leaves with my fingers. They collapse right in front of me. Now, of course I haven't hurt their feelings, but these plants really are sensitive to touch, and they move to stop themselves from being eaten. When an insect like this cricket comes along looking for a meal, the plant's juicy leaves disappear before its eyes. And in fact, the whole stem can fold up as well, and that's enough to put most insects off. The mimosa is a pretty impressive plant, but it's nothing compared to these, my Venus flytraps. Now, they don't use movement to stop themselves being eaten. They use it to catch and eat insects. Now that is movement. In fact, the trap can shut in just 1/3 of a second. But how can a plant with no nerves or muscle move and feel? These are trigger hairs, and when they're touched by an insect, they create a tiny electric pulse, which signals to the plant to spring the trap. It all works through water pressure. And using this model I've knocked up, I can show you exactly how that trap is set. When the leaves are young, the trap is shut. But as the leaf grows, the plant pumps water into the special cells in the trap, represented by my washing up glove. Watch what happens when I blow. Now, as those cells expand, they force the trap open. And as the trap grows, more and more water is pumped under pressure into those cells, until it's really wide and it's ready for its first victim. And when an insect flies in and touches those hairs, the electric signal triggers the release of all that water in those special cells. And the trap snaps shut and starts to digest its victim. So there you have it, sensitive plants which move, and it's all down to water pressure. But thank goodness they're never that big.
Now, Italians love their food, and usually they like a lot of it. Breakfast is different though, and normally it's just a quick cup of coffee and a pastry. But for one family near Rome, breakfast is the main meal of the day. Breakfast in the Archioni household is a pretty strange business. As well as feeding the family, loads of their animals come to the table for breakfast as well. Baby swallows, young sparrowhawks, they all join in the meal. There's the pets to feed as well. And that's not half of it. Some of the animals are a bit big to feed at the breakfast table, like these baby European eagle owls. They've all been bred by Enzo Archioni, an animal-mad businessman who runs a private sanctuary at his home. He breeds animals which are very rare in Italy, and then reintroduces them to the wild. It's a lot of hard work, and Enzo spends all his spare time on the sanctuary. So why is he so mad about the animals?
I don't know why, but I like them, I love them. I love them since I was young. And then I came here about 20 years ago. Now I enjoy to breed the animals.
Enzo certainly loves the animals, and they seem pretty keen on him too, like these young wild hoopoes. He almost seems to be able to communicate with them.
The animals are very friendly because we respect them. And then if you understand them and you don't move quickly, so they
trust you.
Yeah. And they are friendly, they come near us. And the same is for the children, you know.
Enzo's son, 7-year-old Valerio, thinks nothing of wrestling with this lynx, Europe's only big cat. The young lynx grew up with the family, and Valerio loves to play with her, even if it sometimes looks a bit rough. Aria, which is the name of this lynx, is fully grown, and you can see how powerful she is. She could actually kill something the size of a sheep. As you can see, she's only playing with Valerio and certainly wouldn't cause him any harm, although she has unknowingly caused him a spot of bother at school.
Ariel has been with me for 2 years, and she's always jumping on me. The one day I went to school and told my friends I had a wonderfully unique pet that nobody had seen before. But they didn't believe me and started to tease me, so I went to tell Daddy. He brought Ariel to school and all my friends were cuddling her, and that showed them that everything I said was true.
And as well as a lynx, the Archionis have one more crazy creature, Carla, their pet porcupine. When there's a picnic around, Carla just loves to join in, and no one wants to argue with a hungry porcupine. Now, last time I saw a porcupine and got this close, I had to wear shin pads. But not surprisingly, in this animal-mad family, the animal magics work to make even the prickliest customer friendly. Join us again next week as Harry finds out the royal pecking order for birds of prey. Nick discovers just how tough a salmon's journey really is. Say happy birthday to the world's oldest animal. Meet Tony Blair, the lemur. And learn the crazy new dance craze sweeping the bird world.